So we're going to play a drinking game today. Every time Jason says grassy, you got to take a shot. So here we go. Welcome to another episode of Welcome to Rum with me, Jason, and Joel. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite rums to drink and in tiki drinks. Rum Agricole from Martinique. Where is Martinique?
In the Caribbean, and it was one of the islands that was settled by France. So they've got the French style. So the different rums, aside from regional styles, you've also got different styles based on the countries that originally colonized them. Because essentially all rum is based on finding another use for sugarcane that they were raising as a crop.
Yeah.
So in the Spanish and English styles, Spanish being rum R-O-N, or ron, rum R-O-N, and English being rum R-U-M, they normally used processed sugar, processed into molasses before turning it into rum. And it was just, okay, we've got this leftover stuff. We can either dump it somewhere or we can turn it into something that'll get people lit up and they'll pay money for it.
Yeah.
But the French, on the other hand, they liked the raw sugar cane, pressed and fermented the juices from it. And that's how they got their agricoles.
So what exactly is Agricole Rhum?
It's just a more raw form, so they're not processing the sugar first. So it has more of a vegetal or grassy grassy taste to it. So it tastes more like plants.
And it's funny because it's like I never got that when I drink it, but that is like the adjective that's used. It's supposedly have grassy notes, but
right. So the rums that tend to be what people would call grassy or even funky, you've got the agricoles, and then of course you got the funkier versions of Jamaican rums. So people that start exploring rums eventually tend to move towards agricoles and funky Jamaicans because it's that hitting those kind of peripheries of flavors instead of something that's just mild and smooth.
Yeah, and agricole is a type of rum.
Right.
But a lot of those agricoles happen to be from Martinique.
Right. And then
but that's just attributable to the fact that France is the
right, that France colonized Martinique and it was a French style of doing things.
So you can have
have an agricole that comes from somewhere else.
So Jason, you can have a Martinique rum that's not an agricole.
Right. In fact, according to Martin Cate's seminars on the origins of the Mai Tai and what rums went into it, the amber Martinique was what would have been used in the 1940s to make the 1944 Mai Tai, but that after that, Martinique went to a more agricole-only form of rum, or a more agricole-specific. That before that, they also made a more, what we think of as a standard rum.
Can you make an agricole rum anywhere? Like, can you get an agricole rum from somewhere else besides Martinique?
I would assume that I haven't purchased any myself that were not, but you should be able to based on what it's processed from.
So it's not like champagne, where champagne has to come from the Champagne region of France.
From what I understand,
it's just a style of rum.
Yeah, I'm an enthusiast, not an expert, but
and I'll tell you what, like one of my favorite tiki drinks has agricole in it, which is the 3 dots and a dash.
Yes.
And it has a very distinct taste to it that I can't describe it really, but it's one of those things like I know what it tastes like.
And then Jason Alexander at the Devil's Reef came up with an agricole version of a rum barrel that was fantastic.
Oh wow! Is there any other tiki drinks that have? Well, I guess you could have the Mai Tai.
Yes,
you could have a 44 Mai Tai.
44 Mai Tai. Previously, Beach Bum Berry had prescribed using an amber Martinique agricole. But then later on, it was determined that it probably was not an agricole rum that was being used by Victor Bergeron when he came up with the recipe. Based on what rums were available at the time from Martinique.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason. I've made a 44 with agricole, and I've made Mai Tais with just a Martinique rum, and both are incredible.
Yes.
So you can't go wrong either way.
So yeah, the Denizens, I believe, was formulated to more likely emulate what the Martinique Amber would have been.
Yep. And that's pretty much what I use to make Mai Tais. But we're not talking about Denizen today. Today we're going to be talking about, well, essentially two main companies that I know of. Rum JM and Clement.
Yes.
So where are we going to go with this?
Well, first, Joel, welcome to Martinique. Welcome to Rum. So we're going to start down there with the Rum JM, just the standard Rum JM Gold, which is a 50% alcohol, and it's going to be less aged. It's very smooth and less of a, to me, it's got less of an agricole flavor to it, but it's still considered an agricole rum.
Okay. So let's try it.
Okay.
That's going to be to the
furthest
far left.
Salute.
So you should get a little bit of that grassy vegetable flavor on the back end of it there.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it's fairly mild, but it's noticeable.
Yeah,
and of course you got some burn on it too.
It took a second for it to hit, but I definitely get that.
This is definitely more complex than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is great, though.
In fact, I do definitely like that one in a Mai Tai.
I think this would be perfect in a Mai Tai. And actually perfect in a tea punch, too. So, yeah, this is really good.
Also perfect in a glass.
Yeah. And did you say this is like, as far as like price is concerned, is this like
That's going to be generally a lower price than the VSO or the VO or the VSOP.
It's really good, though.
Yes, I like it a lot.
No, I'd buy it if I found it. And here's the thing, I'll be honest with you. These rums are not cheap.
No, generally the agricoles tend to be more spendy.
Yeah, and up in Seattle, they're kind of hard to find, too.
This is true.
Is that an import issue, or is that just a higher quality product?
It's also a question of demand.
Okay.
Because the agricoles tend to be more people that are into rum, whereas the average liquor store sells probably a whole lot more Bacardi and Captain Morgan and Kraken and et cetera, et cetera.
This still tastes like rum to me. I mean, I still recognize this as a rum, but it's definitely a unique flavor.
Yeah, Joe, it tastes nothing like anything that I've ever had before, right?
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. I would still, if you asked me, if you just gave this to me and said, "What are you drinking here?" I would say this is probably some kind of rum.
Yeah.
Not a whiskey or tequila or anything. I would
So
put it in the rum family,
So
but
Joel,
it's
not-
definitely different.
Not so very long ago, you sampled some rums from Cuba, the Havana Clubs. How would you place this next to the Cuban rum as far as harshness and complexity?
There's a little bit more of the alcohol burn in this. It's not nearly as smooth, but it's very flavorful. It's got a lot of interesting flavor to it.
What was that song? We've only just begun. You're going to be tasting some alcohol.
All right.
As we go down this line. Hey, gang, we'll get back to the Tiki conversation here in just a second, but I want to let y'all know they have t-shirts for sale. They are screen printed in America. The artist is Tony Canepa, and they're going for $20 a piece, $25 including shipping. If you're interested in buying one, go to my website, tikiwithray.com, and then there's a tab that says buy a t-shirt. Click on there and just follow the prompts. So thank you very much. And let's get back to the Tiki conversation now.
All right, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Are you ready, Joel?
I think so.
So what's
Okay.
next?
So let me get a little water in me. And next we're going to do the Rum JM VO, which I believe is very old. So it's a more aged rum.
Okay. And what is VO? How aged does it have to be to?
I'm going to be honest with you, I'd have to consult the label again.
Okay.
I look at it as kind of stepping points in price. The VO is below the VSOP.
Okay. And just color-wise, you see it's a little darker. It's
Yes.
not outrageously, but they
So it should have spent more time in the barrel.
okay.
Let's try this one.
Cheers. Interesting.
That's good. That's real good.
So do you get more of a smoothness from that? Than
This is
the-
smoother.
It's much smoother.
This is smoother. This is way
Absolutely.
smoother.
Almost.
It doesn't taste more alcoholic. I was expecting it to be more rummy.
It's actually, I believe it's like 43% compared to 50% alcohol on the Rum Jam Gold.
This is smoother.
It's smoother for sure, and it definitely has more organic flavor.
It's
to
organic, but it's almost like a candy-like finish too. At least for me.
It's sweet on the front end, and then almost mildewy on the back end, in a good way.
Oh, wait till we get to Jamaican rums.
Okay.
Well, this is
Dirty. It's got a little bit of a dirty flavor. Again, in a good way.
I think this would work in a Mai Tai too, but I think this would work better
Yeah, when you,
because it just
Yes.
this one has more, for lack of a word, like a body to it.
I would call it robust.
yeah,
Robust.
absolutely.
But yeah, when you get into the agriculture, you're rolling in the plant life.
Yeah, for sure.
You're getting dirty. Moving up the line, we have the VSOP, which is the Very Superior Old Pale.
And this is,
That's a fairly premium bottle.
yeah, this stuff is really, really good. Anytime I come over to visit my buddy Jason, and he's like, do you want to pour us something? I'm like, you know what I want to pour of. Right here.
Okay.
Well, hopefully...
I feel privileged.
Well, we'll
to
see what...
have
We'll
the
see what,
opportunity.
and that's... this
So yeah, Joel, welcome to Rum.
That's one right here, right?
Cheers. Very smooth.
Wow. It's funny because I'm used to drinking this by itself. But now that I've had these other two, like as it's gone on, they've gotten smoother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
for
this
sure.
is unbelievably smooth
Very smooth.
compared to these other two. Like I was expecting the bite, and it wasn't a. Like it's like wow, this is
It's really good. And again, getting black licorice kind of flavor again, but also again very earthy.
yeah. There is an undertone there. I mean, if you're saying black licorice, I could go with that. There is a deep. Wow,
I like it.
it's funny. Seriously,
There's obviously a reason that it for it to be the premium because
so Joe, so far out of these three, which one do you like best?
I honestly think I like the middle one.
The middle one,
Kind of
Okay.
it kind of has
and you know what's
a little bit of what you need.
And you know what's crazy, Jason? I know that at this trying all three, I think I agree with Joel at this point.
Okay. I can tell you I'm really fond of that Rum JM Gold.
This one here.
Yes, I'm definitely replacing that bottle when it's done.
They're all fine. I enjoyed all of them.
But the VSOP is definitely the most expensive.
Yeah, and
Of
I
those
think
three, yes.
I think that if it was just that I were drinking and not mixing it in or not putting in anything, then that if it was something I were going to be sipping on, that would probably be the way that I would go. I could see using both of the other twos in cocktails or drinks, and
Right.
I think I could also see drinking the very old as a sipping liquor, but I don't
Right.
think I would do that with the
No,
other one.
no, probably not the Gold. The Gold would be a great for a Mai Tai or great for a tea punch. The VO and the VSOP, either just straight or maybe an ice cube in it if you like an ice cube swirled. But yeah, I wouldn't adulterate those. They're terrific the way they are. So moving along, it's a question whether the Clement Select Barrel is higher than the VSOP because there's also a Clement VSOP. But I previously I haven't had them in this order before, but generally I think of that more positively than I think of the Rum JM VSOP.
I actually have.
So we'll see if that holds true or not.
Yeah, I actually have a bottle of both, and I've taste tested both of them together. They're very similar, and if you were to mix them up, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference. I think I agree with you. I think I kind of like this better.
Right. So price point, I think
This is cheaper.
I think yeah, the Rum JM VSOP is probably going to be a higher price point than the Clement Select Barrel, but I think I prefer the Clement Select Barrel for my palate.
So before we try the Clement, what, in your opinion, Jason, what would be the difference between Clement and Rum JM?
I personally consider Clement to be more prestigious, but both of them are higher end products.
Yeah.
Clement has
So
a
it's
fancier
kind of when you're looking at Mercedes versus BMW kind of thing.
Yeah. What I found, in my opinion, is like the Rum JMs, in my opinion, tend to be the alcohol is definitely more prominent, where the agricole taste is definitely more. I'm more of a fan of Clement than I love them both, but I usually tend to go with the Clement than Rum JM. But I'm curious to see what Joel thinks when we try this rum.
Okay.
So
All right, so
let's give it a
moving
shot.
on to the Clement Select Barrel.
Opa.
Tastes like home.
Yeah, that is terrific.
Again, very good, very smooth. Different. It's definitely different than the other.
Would you say that's smoother or not as smooth as the VSOP?
I'd say it's right up there. They're pretty much on par. Different flavor though. Not
How so?
this one does taste more grassy to me, like literal grass.
Drink at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that the right adjective? Grassy?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's a good descriptor. Organic again.
But you think of fresh greenery
Yeah.
and something
it's-
that's raw and not
And it's
processed.
super smooth. Super smooth.
But wow. I mean, I'm all about the Clement, but still, now that I've had them all in the row,
I think there's more.
I think this is the winner.
It's more flavor
So-
for sure. I
So
think
for
there's
you,
more
next
flavor
time
for-
you're down in Oregon and it's a little less expensive than it is in Washington, you might be getting you some rum JM, huh?
Yeah. I think this might be my favorite so far.
All right.
What do you think, Jason? You said you like this one the best.
If I was mixing, I would definitely, the first thing I would go for is that rum jam gold. I really like the flavor and the robustness of it, and the fact that it's 50% alcohol, which is a nice boost. But as far as higher quality on each, I still like the Clement Select Barrel. And then one of these days I'll pick up a bottle of the Clement VSOP and see what I think next to each other.
Yeah, I like the
Because
bottle.
I
like
have-
the bottle.
I
a nicer bottle.
I have hit your VSOP bottle a few times, but never side by side.
That's very easy to drink.
Yes.
You could drink a lot of that. It could be
All of these go down surprisingly smooth and just have a lot of character when you taste them.
But so far, they all taste like an Agricole Rhum, though, right, Joe?
Yeah, I would put these in the same class. Again, they're obviously very distinct from traditional gold rum.
Yep.
But there's still enough of it there that it tastes like a rum. It's in that that same family, but definitely a different flavor. Very interesting. This is something very new for me.
But yeah, so this and the Cuban rums that you tried earlier are all products of sugar, just at different levels of processing, kind of.
Very interesting. I'm learning a lot.
And keep in mind, so originally with the colonization, you had very distinctive styles from island to island. But then as we started getting transportation differently and control of areas differently, the styles kind of blended a little bit more.
Let me ask you this. How much of the flavor of rum is attributed to the terroir? When you think of wine, it's the soil that
Right.
goes into the flavor of the grapes.
Right.
What?
A lot. I mean, depending on the contents of the soil, the exact climate, it's all going to change. Like there are rums that they've made in areas of, say, Mexico, for instance, that people swear by, based on what the soil is there and how the sugarcane grows there. So or for instance, eventually we'll get to the Demerara rums, which are specific to the Demerara River Basin in Guyana. And those have like a natural spicy flavor to them, but they're not a spiced rum, but you definitely get a spice kick off of it based on sugarcane grown in that soil. So, climate changes and the nutrients in the soil make a huge difference.
Interesting.
It's funny, like, I'm originally from the East Coast, Pennsylvania. I lived in New York City, and I moved out to Seattle. And I
So did
remember
you get some of that Newark rum?
Yeah, I did get some New York rum. But I remember, like, what was always hard to find out here was, like, good pizza. Like, good New York-style pizza.
The water.
And I'm
Yes.
like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Don't they know how to do it? And then it's like, and people are saying it's the water. It's those basic ingredients.
Yeah, because Jersey and New York have had that chemical buildup over the years that really flavor the water.
Yeah, and that's how you build herd immunity. To like,
Out here we got
I'm going to live forever.
Out here we got cleaner, purer water, so it doesn't make good pizza.
Your water's too good for the pizza. So, taking us home here, Jason. What do
So
we got
taking us
left?
home, so the least aged expression of the Rum JM products is the Rum JM white rum right here.
That's it. And yeah, this is actually the only rum so far that is clear.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, I thought it wasn't an Agricole, but it truly is.
So that was actually the first Agricole that I ever purchased when I was trying to find an Agricole rum to see what it tastes like, and it's very strong by itself. So what I did is I gave everybody a sample of it by itself, and then I created some tea punches. Now the tea punch is the traditional recipe for an Agricole rum, and once again it's the rum lime sugar, but there's less lime and less sugar to it really.
So let's try the rum by itself.
That's very different.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
very,
very,
very different.
raw, very vegetable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. This is
It's a green. It tastes green
Like-
compared
like-
to
Yes.
the others. It's like it's not fermented
Raw.
or yeah.
That's funny. Like when I
Yeah.
think of like a rum agricole, like this is what I definitely tasting the
Right. The other
alcohol.
ones are definitely much smoother and much less.
But this isn't that bad
No.
compared to others.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's still.
But you can definitely taste the alcohol.
yeah, for sure.
Like you're like, oh, I'm drinking booze here, you know. Where the other ones are, like especially the VSOP here and the barrel aged, definitely smooth. This is a little harsher to drink
Yeah, and
by itself, but still good though.
I think, and this is different enough from what I think of as rum that I don't know that I would put this in the rum family if I were to just
So this one's
drink this
that,
independently.
So Joel, this
This
one's
is
that
a-
much radically different than the other ones.
So would you put this
I think
closer
so.
to like a tequila or a mezcal, maybe?
it's almost
Yeah.
it's almost along the lines
Yeah.
of a tequila.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that's a great.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
if you were to
a
say
good
like
silver tequila,
this tastes
Yeah.
more like a tequila than it does a rum,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
and it's weird because just this one, not the other ones,
Right.
Well, the others have the benefits of some aging.
and this
So
is
sitting in a barrel,
in a barrel,
for a while,
right, soaking
will,
up some of
will-
that flavor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
this-
also just mellowing over time.
yeah. If you gave this to me, I would say this was probably some kind of mezcal or a tequila,
Right.
without knowing otherwise.
and you said that you made us some tea punches.
Yeah, the
So
tea
what's a
punch-
tea punch?
So a tea punch is pretty much a pour of rum, which traditionally it's going to be a Martinique or an Agricole rum,
Okay.
and then they would use. Let me get the word right. I think it's a bolele. It's like a stick off of a particular shrub that's indigenous to the area. That when they cut those
It
off,
literally looks like-
they'll have 3 or 4 prongs off the tip of it, and you'll literally sit there and stir your drink like that with it. Unfortunately, I don't have one right now because the one I had broke.
And it's literally rum, sugar, lime.
No, wait.
Yes.
In the last episode, we had a drink that was made
Yes,
of rum, sugar, and lime.
Right, but a rum daiquiri, which is the Cuban tradition with it, is going to be shaken and then it's going to be poured up. So no ice in it.
Strained. There's
Right,
no ice.
strained.
Well,
So-
the ice was added to this.
So the difference
Right.
between a daiquiri then and a tea punch is the type of rum, the agricole
Yep.
versus
Right.
the not, and
Right,
the
you're-
method of mixing.
Yes, you're
And
generally
is
going to serve it
that
in like
makes
a
a
rocks
different
type
drink?
glass.
I'm
Yes.
not going to be drinking the
Yeah,
same
literally,
drink.
like when
Right.
Jason made these drinks, he poured the rum in here, he poured the sugar syrup in, and did the shaking, like the stirring here.
So before you drink these, you definitely want to give them a good swirl for a few seconds. But
And,
you
and
know,
there is lime, but I mean, see the little piece.
there's
that's
a
in there?
light squeeze of lime, and then traditionally
Right,
you're
that's
supposed to put like a lime coin in it, so just a little bit of lime rind.
So as opposed to the daiquiri where there was substantial juice.
There's a more
Yeah.
substantial. The daiquiri gets about a half an ounce, give or take a half to a full ounce, depending on how strong your limes are and how much you like it, and then half an ounce to a full ounce of sugar of simple syrup. Here was just a light splash of simple syrup and a light splash of lime, and then that little lime coin.
So the alcohol is more the
The
Right.
alcohol is prominent, but here's
Right.
but let's try them. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
So much more of a cocktail flavor than drinking it straight.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I almost don't get hardly any of the lime. It still comes through as it's certainly it's cut.
It's
Right.
cut. Yeah, the sugar is cutting the
and
rum.
but it's not too sweet.
Yep. And here, Joel, is the basis of pretty much most tiki drinks:
Okay.
a rum, sugar, and a lime.
So persons that are exploring rums tend to take a new rum and try it in different cocktails, but a daiquiri or a tea punch are two of the things that you try it in most to see what it does or
What
how
the
it
rum?
yeah.
How the rum works. Interesting.
You know, it's much like people saying with a scotch or a bourbon, if you add an ice cube, it tends to open up the flavor. I think it does the same thing.
Well, if I had my druthers between the daiquiri that you made and this, I think I probably would go with the daiquiri.
Okay.
I prefer that over this. But this is also, again, very good and definitely drinkable.
Yeah, I think a daiquiri is more palatable. You know, I think if you were going to have a party,
Right.
I'd be serving daiquiris than tea punches. And just it's spelled T-I,
Oh, okay.
punch. And so if you saw it, you would think, what? It would look like it would be like Thai punch. And I guess and even saying punch, it's more like paunch. A tea paunch.
Now keep in mind, you make a daiquiri with a lesser rum, and it's still going to be an enjoyable beverage. But a tea punch, usually you want to use a better rum.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the lesson. I'm learning a lot. And I'm looking forward to our next our next go.
Our next encounter.
Yeah, we'll film that at a different date because I'm already feeling it. So we're gonna play a drinking game today. The fuck was that?
That's the beginning of your soundtrack, your theme song.
Oh,
I know.
I don't need
just-
you. I don't need you to do it. Yeah, so we're gonna do it. We're like Bobby McFerrin it.
Joel, for a moment there, I thought we were going to have a flashback.
Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.